Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope this is not distracting, but I checked in the camera. I think it's distracting for me because it's right here, but it shouldn't be distracting. Welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a life update video. Promised to do a life update in my previous video because things are a bit confusing for me, at least, because I knew what was happening, but I couldn't say what was happening because I wasn't ready to, but now I am. It's 2023, it's February, the 3rd of February, and there's no like nice way of saying this, so I'm just gonna say it. So currently I am unemployed. I left my job. The 31st of January was my last day there, and the past 2.5 days have been hellish. Well, not all the way, but the first day was hell. Let me give you a little backstory as to how we ended up in this moment, right? So in 2020, I was at home, unemployed. It was in the thick of lockdown, stressed as hell. I was looking for a job, applying. I remember I had my last interview a few days or a few weeks before I got this job, and after that interview I was just like, you know what, God, like, I'm done. I'm done looking for jobs. I'm done with these interviews because I suck at interviews. So I'm just done. If you're gonna give me a job, just give me a job. And lo and behold, that's exactly what God did. He gave me a job. So yeah, this pharmacist from Witbank called me and she's like, hey, I know you're looking for a job. Come this side. I have something for you. Packed up all my things, moved here, and how many years later? I think this was in June. So 2 and 7 months later, we are here. I'm waiting for this fly to go away because you're not going to ruin my video today. And I don't know why there's flies, because anyway, so we're here, right? So I was happy in my job. I think I got there. I didn't fit in, but I was comfortable, right? Like, even with the stuff I didn't know, like, I just felt like it was I was at the right place at the right time, and I was gonna be okay. I had never worked in retail before. I never wanted to work in retail, so it was scary, but I just had this assurance that I was gonna be fine, and I was fine. For 2 years I was fine, right? I enjoyed my job. Not enjoyed, but I was there. I showed up every day. I was there. Then things started to change last year, like around September, October, right? Things started to change. I think also even way before that, but I started to notice a significant change around that time. The way we were talking to each other as colleagues, the way we were relating to each other as colleagues, how we were interacting on a daily changed so much. One of the reasons why I loved being there was it felt okay, I was okay with going to work. I didn't dread going to work. There were things here and there, but it for the majority of the time we got along. Things were fine. So much so that I overlooked some of the things, because I was like, the environment is fine. For quite some time in 2021, I was thanking God for that job, because I was like, I'm learning, I'm gaining experience, I am getting along with my colleagues. I get along with my boss. The pay could be better, but it's manageable, you know? So yeah. Then last year things just got weird, man. Like the energy changed, people changed. Maybe I changed as well, but I just felt like people were getting hostile, you know, with each and every week. Like things were getting weird, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, what is happening? Like I was so confused. Like I really was confused because I was with these people for quite some time, and all of a sudden it's like I started feeling like I don't belong there, which was wild. Like I couldn't wrap my head around it. I started feeling like I didn't belong there. Like the people there didn't like me. They hated me. And I'm a people pleaser. So these things hit me hard. Like for normal people, it's like, okay, you know, you don't like me. So what? But for me, I'll be thinking about that for the whole day. Like I'll be at home and thinking about, why did you talk to me like that? And mind you, I'm not exaggerating about how we were relating to each other. Like people were talking to me sideways and I'm just like, huh? Like I wasn't imagining things. It was a real thing. But what hit me the most was that, when did that change? Like why all of a sudden you don't like me? Why are you speaking to me like that? You know, it was something I've never experienced to that degree before. And because it was such a small space, we're constantly in each other's faces all the time, it really affected me. Like it really affected me. There was a week where I was crying the whole week. Like I would drive to work crying, come back from work, cry, because I had some sort of, it wasn't even an altercation, like someone said something to me which I found very hostile, and I was just broken. And I know that some of these things were heightened by the fact that I'm a people pleaser, and I was also going through some things last year. Still going through them, but you know, for the most part, last year it was a very sensitive time for me. So I just could not take it. To be honest, that's that incident where I was crying the whole week. That made me realize, which I will not make it. Like I will not make it emotionally. I was just out. And there were other things. It wasn't just that. Like there's a multitude of things. I wouldn't quit my job just because I had one rough week at work. I mean, I'm a mother, a single mother at that. But it was just a number of things. Second to that was the fact that I am a single mother. And it just got to a point where I don't know if I'll be able to talk about this without crying. But it just got to a point where I was late almost every day. And every day, every morning, I'm shouting at my baby because she's a baby. So she's taking her time. She doesn't understand the concept of time. So we're always late, and I'm shouting at her because we're late. I'm always frustrated. I come back from work, I'm tired. I don't want to play with her. I don't have time. Instead, I just wanted to bath, eat, and sleep. And she's a child. She wants to play. She wants to connect. And I just don't have the capacity for that. So I'm shouting in the morning. I drop her off later on. I'm shouting because I wanted to do what I wanted to do, and she wants to do her own thing, which is understandable. She's also human. But I'm just like, you need to do what I want you to do at the time that I want you to do it, or else there's going to be a problem. And there were many problems, you know. So at some point I was just like, I can't live my life like this. I can't raise my child like this. I'm the only person she has here, you know. So if I'm always grumpy, always moody, always shouting, always threatening, what kind of a childhood am I giving to my baby? You know, like, oh, I started thinking about those things, and to be honest, gave me the courage and strength. I was just like, I want to give my child a happy childhood, and money is needed. Like, we need money. Being here, we're renting here, that's money. She's in school right now, that's money. Petrol, taking her to school is money. Food is money. We need money, but I think she needs me more, especially in this setting. I think she needs me more. I think she needs me happier. She needs me free. She needs me present. I wasn't present for anything. I wasn't even present for myself. I worked Mondays to Saturdays. Weekdays from 8 to 5. On Saturdays from 8 to 1. By the time you knock off, you want to go to the shops. By the time you're done with the shops, it's like 5 o'clock. And you land from aftercare. The only time you have is a Sunday. Now, you must do chore. Like, I never had time for anything. And because of how my contract was set up, when I take leave, it's unpaid leave, so I'm always calculating in my head. So if I take 5 days off, that means it was just tiring. It was draining. I was tired of doing that. Like, I was tired. I'm cutting a color on YouTube, but it is what it is. So yeah, like, that just became too much for me. Coupled with the fact that I really don't like my career. I think I've mentioned this before. I don't like my career. So to have to strive and lose out on so much for a career you don't even find worthy, now that's tough. Pharmacy is a great career. It is a great career. But for me, I'm a creative person. I've always known this. In my first year, I wanted to drop out, but my mother was like, no. I've always known this. So to have stuck around in this field for so long, it was beginning to eat away at me. It was beginning to just drain the life out of me, And I know this sounds crazy to someone who's sitting at home unemployed, looking for a job, and even to people who have a job. Like, I know it sounds crazy, but you have to be in it to understand, And I'm not looking for sympathy or anything. I'm just telling my story. Like, you literally have to be in it to understand that it gets to a point where you can't do it anymore. And I couldn't do it anymore. To even show you, I went to my boss, gave him a notice. This was beginning of November, and I was leaving end of December. So I was done. Like, I was done a long time ago. I was just showing up for work because I had to, but I was done a long time ago. And even then, like, my notice had to extend to January because my replacement wasn't able to make it in December, so I had to stay longer. Even I was literally dragging myself to work the whole time. But I don't know. I remember telling someone in December, I was like, I quit my job, and that's the situation right now. And he was like, are you gonna have enough money to survive? Like, how are you gonna survive? I was like, I don't know. I have a plan, but I also have faith, and I still stand by that. I have faith that God is going to pull us through. Of course, I didn't make this decision blindly. I saved money. I saved not enough money, but enough money to last us for a couple of months. I am going to try. I'm not going to try. I know I'm going to work part-time. I'm going to, at some point, I'm going to go out, look for part-time work, because that was the plan initially, is that I'm going to work part-time, I'm going to pursue my passions, but the first 2 days have shown me that I don't know if that is going to work out, like in the long term. So for now, I'm going to work part-time, push my passions and all of that, because pushing your passions is very fulfilling, guys. It's like, I would recommend it, but I would also recommend a stable income. So yeah, so I'm going to work part-time, and then the ultimate goal is to find work that allows me to do what I need to do, that allows me to show up for my family, that allows me to show up for myself even, but still have a stable income, right? Excuse me. So I am applying right now. I'm just going to focus on applying for government jobs, because I know that will give me that structure. So that's my focus right now, applying for government posts. But as time goes on, I will be expanding, the search for a job. So yeah, I also want to touch on this, is that at the time when I quit my job, right? So that one incident pushed this whole thing, but it had been coming for a long time. When I got here, I told myself I'm only going to be here for 2 years, and the 2-year mark passed, and I was like, you know what? I need to leave, and I never actually got the courage until that happened. So in my mind, I think that was the push that I needed to leave, because yeah. But also, I will say that I told this to someone before. I'm very wary of saying that God told me to leave my job. I don't think he did, but there were so many things happening around at the time, so many like confirmations, so many like nudges, that gave me the courage to say, you know what, just leave. I was watching sermons that were pushing me to leave. I had multiple videos come up in that month, right? Like, of people that I am subscribed to. I know sometimes when you like, our phones pick up when we Google things or say things or whatever, they pick that up, then the algorithm just kind of lines up to what you were thinking about, that thing. But these were people that I was subscribed to, right? So I didn't go out looking for this information. I didn't go out looking for these videos, but it was videos, and were YouTube, most specifically YouTube channels that I follow and watched on a daily. What even surprised me is that even before that, I started following Utandi Gama, because I think she was doing Vlogtober or something, and then she did a video on redirection. I never gave her like my time, but just before I made my decision, I watched a video of hers of how she quit her job. She quit her job, I think so, for influencing and all of that stuff. And the core message of it was that ungatwafi to be redirected by God. And at first it's going to look crazy, it's going to sound crazy, but there is a purpose and plan for that. And literally so many of those videos came up, and I was just like, you know what, if at the end of this I feel like I made a mistake, I still have my qualification, I can still apply for jobs, so I'm not going to live my life filled with fear of what ifs, and so I made the leap, I made the jump, and now we're here. And it hasn't been long. I mean, my last year was on Tuesday, today is a Friday, so but I am a little happier, a little lighter in spirit. I am still very much anxious. Like, I have moments. My days are like this. Yesterday I was able to go for my swimming class in the morning, and I was like, this is so great. I can come back, shower, rest, wake up, clean, all in the 8 hours before I even fetch my baby. That's great for me. And then I have moments where I'm like, on days where I want to buy myself something, or take myself out for coffee, or even take my baby out for McDonald's, because she's obsessed with McDonald's lately, and I don't have the money. Like, it's going to be a problem. I know it's going to be a problem. But, you know, I've been through worse. I've been through worse. I've been unemployed before. I've declined a job post before. I've done so many things. I've made so many mistakes, and I'm still here. You know, so I don't think this one decision will completely ruin my life, you know. I don't think so. I hope not, but I don't think so. So I'll make it. I have hope, you know. And the thing about hope is that even when you have the anxieties and the doubts and please, and the whatnots, it stands like, you know, like a tree that is deeply rooted, right? Storms come, winds blow, but when all is said and done, the tree still stands. That is my hope and faith right now. It stands. No matter kunjani, I am hopeful. And I know this looks and sounds crazy, but trust me, you have to be in it to understand. And I say this because I was speaking to an old friend of mine. Not an old friend. Is it an old friend? We're friends in varsity, but we still talk. Last year, and she's like, I'm quitting my job. I was like, no, don't do that. She's like, no, I'm done. Like, and she was done. I'm done, you know, like I'm quitting my job. I'm moving back home. And I was like, but you have a child. How are you? And she's like, nah, I'll make a plan. We'll see. I didn't understand. And she was done. Like, there was nothing I could say to convince her. She was done. And now I understand. I actually texted her a few days ago. I was like, hey, I'm leaving my job. I just wanted to find out how it's like on the other side, you know. And so I understand that it may sound crazy because I was also where you are, but you have to be where I am to understand how I'm feeling right now. And also I feel like it's a thing, like this, the great, what do you call it? The great resignation or something like that. It's a thing. Like, people are really resigning from their jobs, and it's just a thing, guys. So yeah, I told my mom a couple of days ago, and I've been so scared to tell her because, number one, I prayed for this job. I fasted for this job. I was waking up at 12 ebusuku praying to get a breakthrough, and I did. And now, not even like 3 years later, I'm just like, I'm done. That sounds crazy, especially to a parent. That sounds crazy. So I told her, and she was literally like, I wasn't surprised because that's my mom. She was like, uzophila ngani? That's literally all she said. And it sucked. Like, I wish she could have asked me why, or, you know, tried to be there for me, try to understand, at least try. But she was just more concerned about my survival. And I will say this, we are all adults, guys, and I realized this a couple of weeks ago, which freed me so much. I was watching Luyanda Mafanya's Instagram stories, cooking with Luyanda on Instagram. She's like a cook. Is she a chef? I don't know if she's a chef, but she's a cook, influencer, whatnot. And she was like, she was asking people not to give her unsolicited advice because she's also an adult, a fully functioning adult at that. And she's capable of thinking and weighing her options and whatnot. So please don't give unsolicited advice. Hear me clearly, unsolicited advice, because I'm gonna paraphrase. So she said, I know we all adults, and some of you may be more adult here than the rest of us, but I'm also an adult, and I think before I make decisions, and I consider things before I make decisions. So I don't know what adulting you think I'm doing, that I don't think about things before I make a decision. And that freed me so much, because I was so scared of telling people that I'm leaving my job, because it's such a reckless thing to do. And I say reckless very loosely. It's such a reckless thing to do. But trust me, you're going to quit your job. So trust me when I say I've thought about it, right? Even when I told my boss, he was like, in these 3 months, if you change your mind, let me know. And I had ample time to change my mind, but I didn't, because I knew what I was doing. So trust and believe, this was not a mistake, right? It was not a mistake, and we are not here by chance. And I know that everything works together for the good of those who trust the Lord. And yeah, man, I just have faith that I'll be fine. I mean, like I said, the winds will come, the storms will come, but they will also go away. And the tree that is deeply rooted in hope and faith and God's word is still going to be there. So worry not. This is all right. My child and I will be fine. And I feel like everything is kind of linked to me quitting my job. So if you saw my last video, my budget, that's my budget for the month, it's significantly cut. Also, it's way over budget. But I just have this crazy faith. I don't know who's that they can't call the person that they're coming to see. And they must make noise for all of us. But yeah. So I also want to talk a little bit about my fast. I finished my fast on the 28th. Yeah, the 28th. And it went okay, right? So I had a long list. I don't know where I put my list, but I had a long list of things I was fasting for. And one of them was to have a healthy co-parenting relationship with Ubaba Mntwana, and so far so good. Like, I really saw a breakthrough in the month of January. But I will talk about the fast exclusively on a video. Like, I will talk about it there. But yeah, so I would highly recommend fasting and prayer, because fasting is just if you fast without prayer, they say it's just a diet. So the prayer is very important. So that relationship, I wanted it more so for my child, so that they can have a healthier relationship. So their relationship is getting better, to a point where he took her for the weekend last month. And that is something that has never happened before. So that got me excited to see what else God is going to do, So, and I haven't really had time to process and but that was one big thing. I was just like, yo, God, was wrong tulum twalo, like, yo, because being a parent is tough. You need a co-parent. So that was really something great. Ogunye is just how I relate to myself, how I talk to myself, how I perceive myself, more especially in relationships, more especially with men. God just opened my eyes to a lot of things, and I can't wait to see how he puts it all together, because I don't think he has revealed all of that for nothing. I was in a relationship last year, and I broke up with my ex sometime last month. No, I wanna this shows that I haven't healed. But we broke up on the 16th of December. I remember this vividly. And That was the last time I spoke to him. That was the last time I saw him. So I'm gonna say it, if you judge me, that's on you. I thought this was gonna be my person, you know. In my head, I was already thinking marriage and all of that. And there were red flags, many red flags, but I didn't want to see them. But my biggest regret, I don't regret the relationship. I don't regret half of the things that I should be regretting. But my biggest regret is introducing my child to him and playing happy family with him. Because one, he was never around. He is a businessman, and he was always chasing a bag, always doing this, always doing that. So my child would ask about him often, you know, even when I tried to be strong and be like, oh, it's fine, he's busy with work. But the fact that she would ask about him would just make me unravel, you know. And at the end of it all, we broke up, right? And also it was a long time coming, you know. So we broke up, and I knew what was happening. I knew why, to a point where I don't think singabuyelana at any point, like, no. But now my child, aganayo leyo, she doesn't know what's happening, right? There was no warming up to the idea of us breaking up. There was no warming up to this person not being in our lives. There was no warning for her. One day we were happy family, then the next, this person no longer comes to see us. We're not going out with this person. They're not calling us, you know. And she had questions like, where is so and so? And sometimes she would cry because she clearly misses him, because our lives were so intertwined that this person is no longer around. And that is my biggest regret. I don't think I'll be doing that again. Yeah. But she'll be fine. She's asking about him less and less. But you're right, guys, honestly, like, by the time that we broke up, I knew we were gonna break up, because so many red flags. But also because the older you get, the more you feel this pressure of being married. You see your friends getting married and you feel like you should also be married. And Minage, for the past 2 years, I've had this strong need for a partner, for companionship, because it gets lonely, guys. It gets, especially when you're parenting, it gets lonely. You need someone to I think I'm past like that delusion. You see, I'm a strong, independent black woman. I am not. I'm really not. And I have no desire to be that. You know, I want to be soft. I want everything in my life to be soft and just like wholesome and just beautiful and just, you know, that I want romance. I want that. So this dream that we were sold of being strong, independent women is just bullshit, right? And I was tired of it. And I was tired of doing things on my own. Yes, I'm capable. Yes, I'm able. But why do I have to do that? So I started immersing myself in the idea of companionship, partnership, and all of that. And to a fault, because I would overlook certain things because I'm just like, at least I have a partner, I have a companion, you know, it should be fine. I kind of had this idea that things were going to work themselves out, that the kinks were going to, you know, somehow work themselves out, but they didn't. And this year, I kind of want to move into a space of love. I just want love. Whatever that looks like, I just want love, you know? So yeah, what else do I want to talk about? I don't know. I think I'm done. Because also my life is kind of like this. Like everything is everything is intertwined. So if I talk about one thing, best believe I've talked about everything. Yeah. this is my first time getting this vulnerable in a video. I've had moments when I've shared about my past, but I'm telling you about my present, right? But I know this is kind of, but I watch my videos back, and I enjoy seeing where I was at that particular time. So this is also kind of that, just archiving my life and my feelings and my thoughts and all of that. So for what it's worth, I hope you guys enjoy it. And yeah, I will see you guys on the next video. The next video is definitely going to be a vision board, now that we've gotten the unemployment out of the way, so I can speak about things openly. And yeah, I will see you guys on the next one. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.